Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Metroid Other M. This episode we're gonna find out exactly what happened here. We're locked. Everything's out of power. All of a sudden. All the doors are locked. This is where that thing came from. You've seen that before. Whatever ate Ridley. It's in here. Assuming we gotta look through this hole. Aha!
No,
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 no, you got it wrong.
stay away! Stay away!
You have to calm down.
Now, did you kill Ridley or did someone else kill Ridley? Because either way, I'm gonna take revenge on whoever killed Ridley. Or I did.
Wait. Metroid eggs. It can't be.
Welcome to the final boss. Get off me. The Mother Metroid. This is exactly what they were trying to make all these times. Galactic Federation just keeps wanting to make this type of Metroid. Metroids are heartless beings that will only live to suck out energy and life force from other creatures. Oh right, I keep forgetting. That for this boss, which is the boss that I said, by the way, will make you cry. Simply because there's so many Metroids to deal with, and they can grab hold of you very fast. And there's so many of them, so it's kind of hard to aim in the first-person mode. And they can also dodge very quickly as well. Your best odds are what I just did, but chances are I'm gonna be dying. Yep. Now this boss is incredibly difficult, and like I said, this boss will make you cry, so be prepared for that. This is kind of why you have the ability to shoot multiple targets after killing that boss, because if you didn't have that ability, this boss would be impossible. Just remember that you can dodge, because dodging is your friend, and you should be okay. Not too well off, but just okay. Because there's always a ton of them, you never know if you got them all, and that can be pretty hard. I don't quite remember how to take out the mother, either, which is not great. But I do know that being in first person does not help. Come on, get off me. But the thing that's scary about Metroids is not necessarily Metroids on their own. If they are actually mobilized with a meager amount of intelligence, they'll actually be extremely deadly. I remember thinking that this boss was badly programmed. A lot when I first played it. This is the only boss fight in the entire game that I can consider bad. And kind of awful. You most often do not have any time to regenerate, and so that makes it kind of pointless unless you have as many energy things as you can possibly have at this point in the game. That and switching between, you know, first person and all that is not greatest. Because in order to shoot the missiles, you have to be first person, but if you have to shoot the regular beams to freeze the enemies and dodge, you have to be in. Alright. That and the camera will not help you either. Makes you wonder about Adam. If only we had power bombs. But as you can probably tell from the fact that I haven't gotten a single hit on this boss, this boss is very annoying. And it's not even a good kind of hard either. Like, usually I'm like, hey, you know, sometimes games are meant to be challenging, but this one just seems very off. I would have preferred Ridley to be in the final boss, to be honest. At least that would have been fun. In Metroid Fusion, you actually see a semi-evolution of this. Okay. Got those ones. So very, 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 very annoying. Finally. Let's kill every Metroid that she spawns to activate this level of Metroid. As you might have expected, this is why I state you need as many of those energy recharge things as you can, so that when you get to this phase, you can win. After you get to this phase, it's not as hard, because you can just keep using your super missiles over and over again to destroy the crystals. And also, the speed of which the attacks are done is reduced. So for the most part, you can dodge. Darn, I was hoping that would work. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So are you shocked that, well, this is the final boss? I did not want to spoil anything again, but this was not what I was expecting when I first played this game. By any means. And with that... it's not over yet.
This facility will intersect Galactic Federation orbit in approximately 30 seconds. This facility will intersect Galactic Federation orbit in approximately 30 seconds. Emergency brakes engaged. Brace for impact. Warning. Emergency brakes engaged. Brace for impact.
Grappling hook. Powerbomb. There goes your vital organs. And I do believe... yep, that's power bombs. You kind of just get them. I don't think you can get them in any other place except here. So... yeah. That was the final boss, and if you start following her, then you can't actually leave. So just bear that in mind. Alright, this door was in... where did this door even go? There's probably something you can powerbomb. I'd imagine. Never mind.
Don't come any closer. Don't come any closer. Stay away from me.
Easy. I won't come any closer until you say so. My name is Samus. I'm an independent bounty hunter. I know the situation here and I know how you must feel. I'm here to secure your safety. May I come closer? What's your role at this facility?
I'm responsible for all operations. My name is Madeline Bergman.
Wait a minute. I met another woman who called herself Madeline Bergman. What's going on here?
What you met was MB. She's an android. She was created with the intellectual data of Mother Brain and consequently developed Mother Brain's consciousness as well.
What?
The Federation's foolish plan. Mother Brain's rampage. Everything that happened here was just as Madeline, or rather MB, had told me. The person who sabotaged the system to stop MB's rampage and sent out the distress call had to be the person standing before me. It had to be Madeline Bergman.
MB was the artificial intelligence originally developed to regenerate and control space pirate special forces. Because we wanted it to control these special forces through telepathy, we were forced to model its infrastructure after Mother Brain. At that time, MB didn't have a human form. Before long, we started to see the viability of creating Metroid clones. Once we did, MB started to take on her current shape.
But why?
Because we needed the first Metroid hatchling to recognize MB as its mother, she had to take on the form of a living thing. With that as our theoretical basis, we were able to create the ideal relationship with the Metroid. One that wasn't based on dominance or control.
I remembered the baby hatching before my eyes. When it attacked Mother Brain in order to save me, that was the result of the kind of ideal relationship they were trying to develop with MB. They found the perfect means of control and started propagating Metroids in Sector 0. At the same time, they were conducting genetic manipulation experiments to create unfreezable Metroids. Apparently, the queen I met earlier was the first of these propagated Metroids to mature. They wanted to preserve her as a control specimen, so they had left her genes unaltered. The fact that she'd grow into a queen was something not even Madeline and her team could have predicted. Only special infants had the genetic coding to become queens.
Once our MB was in a human form, she excelled. As an interface between us and them, her skills with personal interaction humanized her to a great extent.
If my theory is correct, this is going to be a groundbreaking multi-system for artificial intelligence.
Her confidence was unwavering, and her ability to learn was greater than we'd expected. But then she developed emotions, then a nascent sense of herself. She began asserting her own thoughts, and her opinions began to contradict ours. It's quite typical for artificial intelligence to evolve as a result of self-analysis. However, there's no precedent for an AI like MB developing emotions. It's possible that her interactions with the Metroids brought it about, but we don't know for sure.
The newly hatched infant took to her like his mother. And perhaps at that moment, MB began to develop a soul. It was all conjecture, but the idea wouldn't leave my mind.
And that was when we decided to alter her AI program.
I knew this, but in my heart, I felt sympathy for MB.
On the day we were going to alter MB's program, right before my eyes, I watched her being restrained.
Stop! What are you doing to her?
These orders are from above. Take her away.
Wait!
She reached out to me and asked me for help, but there was nothing I could do.
What What's happening?
My presence that day caused a disturbing reaction in her. She was fixated on me.
Madeline had taken to calling MB Melissa. She took the initials MB and told the AI they stood for Melissa Bergman.
It looks great on you.
MB liked that name. It made it sound like Madeline was calling her her daughter. Once she felt abandoned and hunted by that same Madeline, MB telepathically commanded the special forces to revolt. The facility fell into complete chaos and suffered widespread damage.
MB was trying to get revenge on the Federation Army. And on us. It's possible all humans have become the target of her hatred.
With the space pirates under her control, she was able to propagate the Metroids in Sector 0, even creating a Queen Metroid. She was well armed and planning her attack on the Galactic Federation. But Adam and I crushed her plan completely. And now, who could guess where she was and what she planned next?
She's backed into a corner. Her hatred is entirely focused on you and me right now. MB! Wait, MB, calm down. Please listen.
Madeline, step back!
I mean, we were wrong. It's all over.
Madeline!
I was not wrong. The humans were foolish, and I was forced to bring judgment on them. And yet, because of you, I failed. You must understand the weight of your crime. You must pay the price for what you've done.
Please, MB. We have to get past this.
No. You will all be judged.
It's okay now. I won't ever fail you again. I promise. I'm so sorry. Melissa. Oh, Melissa, it looks great on you. That's your name.
Let's go! Move!
Yeah, that's a bit hard. So, I apologize for part of that, being cut out. I had an interruption literally in the middle of a important cutscene like that, which is mildly frustrating and irritating, but what can you do?
Fire!
Stop! Don't move!
Melissa!
Hey, are you okay? Hey, hang down over there, too! I'm getting you out of here.
So, Miss Aaron, I heard what happened. You performed admirably. You can leave the rest to us. Wait, Aaron. Unfortunate what happened to Commander Malkovich. And to think that his entire unit was annihilated. Truly a tragic day. Would you agree, Aaron? Sadly, with them gone, you're just an outsider. And given your unofficial status, I cannot allow you contact with the witness. With your predilection for transporting illegal cargo like infant Metroids, I must ask that you restrict your... Time for the lady to go home. Someone escort her.
Yes, sir. Time for us to go. Come on, princess.
What? Stop right there. Who are you?
Anthony Hicks, sir. Galactic Federation Platoon 7. I need to secure the safety of any survivors. Commander Malkovich's orders. The purpose of this mission.
What?
Authorized by the chairman of the Galactic Federation. Of course.
What do you mean, the chairman?
But man, you guys made it here quick. I mean, if I hadn't stopped the engines, we might have missed each other. Crazy. Crazy how something good can come out of something bad. Whoa, didn't mean to wake her. Guess I ought to be quiet.
Anthony was trying to be courteous to Madeline. She was exhausted and had only just fallen asleep. She needed the rest. She had a lot of explaining to do once she got to Galactic Federation headquarters. For herself and for Melissa.
Still can't get my head around it. What a crazy mission.
Anthony sighed as he muttered to himself. What would have happened if we hadn't been called there? Might the furious MB have attacked the Galactic Federation and brought about its utter destruction? Melissa wasn't insane, no. One day, a consciousness simply bloomed within her. And those that caused it to bloom, the humans, called it insanity. I was the insane one. That was what Madeline muttered softly as she sank into sleep. The selfish conceits of humans drove MB to violence. It was their distorted perceptions and greed that awoke such fury in the fledgling girl's heart. Her thought was to punish the foolish and conceited. MB could complete her mission. As Melissa, she was defeated. With their one vulnerability overcome, the Metroids were indestructible. If some fool just following orders had taken the savage creatures to those who sought them, I can't imagine what would have happened if Adam hadn't recognized the looming danger. But the cost was far too great. Why did Adam have to pay with his life? For me, I couldn't believe he was dead. For the first time, I questioned his choice.
No objections, right, lady?
I heard Adam's voice in my head. And I knew in my heart that he had made the right decision. Just as he had so many years ago. In that moment, I swore not to grieve his death. And for the first time, I gave him a thumbs up. Just in case he was watching over me. His amused expression looked as though he wanted to say something. His face and Adam's swirled together. That last smile as Adam drifted away.
And there's the game! I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Honestly, it's Probably for story, it is my favorite Metroid. Because it's actually cohesive, it's got a story you can follow without having to make assumptions. And the gameplay was actually really great. The only qualms I have is that the final boss, after you take out the Metroids, is incredibly easy. So long as you have, you know, the energy restoring things. I thought that the final boss was kind of plain. It didn't have that much to it other than after you get to a certain point. But you know, one thing that I really thought was epic was blowing up the guts of the freaking Metroid. That was really risky for Samus to do. Because the stomach of the Metroid is where they, well, they touch things to basically suck their energy out. That's how all Metroids work. And also digest. So, yeah. I always thought this was a really good game. I think that this game is extremely underrated. Extremely underrated. Like, I heard so many issues with this game, but I never actually fully believed them because I seen those two guys play this game and it always looked like it was an epic adventure and did the Metroid series justice. When I finally got around to playing the game for myself, going in it with a mind of, well, people say that this game's awful, so I don't know what to expect. All throughout the game, I just thought that these people were pretty wrong in their opinions, or too harsh in their opinions, rather. That this game was, like, I've heard so many people call it a piece of garbage, you know, it should have never been made, but it's one of the best Metroids out there, only playing second fiddle to, like, you know, Metroid Fusion and Super Metroid, and that's it. And, like, for me anyway, like, it's really high ranking up there, and if you go by Zero Mission and some of the other Metroid games that are out at the time that this was made, like, Zero Mission wasn't great. I mean, it was a fun experience, but there were a lot of things about it that were either annoying or poorly placed, or it felt rushed, or that felt like they needed to have a remake, and that's just how they made the game, was just to have a remake or something like that. And they didn't actually care about what went into it. That being said, like I said, this game is so poorly underrated and ridiculous. I have not played Metroid Prime, but I would like people to, you know, not judge this game so friggin' harshly that it's ridiculous. I think that everything deserves its proper criticism. Like, either corrective criticism or, you know, not corrective criticism, what I'm going for. Constructive criticism. Like, pointing out some things that you think are bad, but also pointing out the things that you think are good, or things that need to be worked on. That's how you make things better. Is telling people about these issues so that they can be fixed in the next game. Rather than just hating on it and wiping your hands of it and just hoping for the best that you get lucky and have a good game. The next game you make. Which I think is a lot of the reasons why a lot of games now are so poor. One, they don't listen to people anymore of the reviews, and two, there's a lot of reviews that are just single-handedly either hate or just compliment everything about it without mentioning any bad things that might need fixed. Because we all make mistakes, and there's no such thing as a perfect game or a perfect whatever. There's always going to be that one thing that you wish was just a little bit better, but it all depends on how good the rest of the game is to support the flaws that it might have. Like, for an example, Skyrim has a ton of bugs, but does that mean that people will just hate it and not ever play it because it has bugs? No. Just like this one, just because the final boss battle is bad doesn't mean I don't want to play it. It's just one of those things, you know? Like, I think this game is a great experience. And I think everyone should play this game at least once.
Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the bottle ship. A mission that will most likely be carried out in the next day or two. I'm heading toward the bottle ship now. I'm going to rescue something that was left there. Something that can't be replaced.
So if you were wondering... Oh no, we can't go back afterwards with our power bombs. Yes, we can. Look at all those items. You can now use power bombs. This is the point where you would be able to use power bombs. We might have a bonus videos coming out soon involving all of these areas, but this is another reason why I absolutely freaking love this game comparatively to the other Metroid games. Other than, like, Super Metroid. Super Metroid and this game are the only games that I've ever seen where you can go back and get things if you want to get them for 100%. Ugh! But anyway, as you can see, it has a percentage right there now. You can see how far you are away from getting 100%. And all that. You can save it wherever now, and all that. You can get all the items in the game now. You're not locked out of anything. It's awesome. The only thing is there's no bosses or anything like that. But still, if you wanted to get 100% and, you know, go back for some extra stuff, you could. Which I think is great. And I really think this game should have had 2 parts. Like a sequel after this that should have, which I think technically maybe Metroid Dread is technically a sequel to this. It's technically a sequel to all of them, but anyway. That being said, that's all I have time for this episode. We may actually, if anyone wants to see this, which I might do anyway, is going back and getting everything in the game and showing all that off. Because we didn't have any use for power bombs until after there were no people left on this ship, which makes a lot of sense because power bombs would vaporize any human beings or non-living beings or non-humans. And since that wasn't, you know, acceptable back then, you know, now it's possible. But enough ranting and raving, and, you know, all that. We've had a lot of very, very, very long episode for this episode. So in the next episode, potentially, for a bonus episode, we'll be going back and getting every little thing that is now available to us. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing that within the next few weeks or months, just so that, maybe next few weeks, more like, after this all comes out and whatever, and I get to hear everyone's feedback over this. Just so we have a little bit of a break from Metroid. But after all this, I will be seeing you guys in the next episode of this and the next project that will be coming after this. See you guys then.